John Robb here, interviewing Paul Cook about the professionals and other stuff. So, what I first want to know, Paul, is about putting the band back together again for the second chapter, in a sense.
Yeah, that was in about 2016, I think, 17. We was got the original band back together, just jam, me, Ray McVeigh and Paul Myers, without Steve Jones, obviously, who's in LA. And we just started messing about, just playing through some of the old stuff, and it sounded good. And then, lo and behold, Tom Spencer was around at the time in the other rehearsal room, and we just said to him, why don't you pop in and we need, just sing a couple of songs and play along with us and see how it goes. And it was great, actually. He knew the songs already because he was a Professionals fan. So he knew a couple of the songs, and we had a little play, and that sounded good. We came back again and had another rehearsal, which was good. And it sort of grew from there, really. We ended up seeing, this is great. Why don't we do a gig? And we done one at the 100 Club, our first show back together with Tom, obviously. And it went well, and it sort of just evolved from there, really, John, and carried on and into an album, etc., and gigs and line-up changes along the way.
I mean, what I like, and I'm just guessing here, but what I like about what Tom adds to it, it's changed the sound a bit. I mean, yes, it still sounds like the Professionals, but also you sound like one of those kind of modern kind of rock and roll punk bands or whatever you want to call it, like the Wild Hearts. It's melodic, it's tight, and it's got a different flavour to it. So it sounds like a 21st century version. It basically sounds like the bands that copied the Professionals.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, really, to move it forward. Once we decided we were going to move forward with it, we started writing some songs. That was the next step. And me and Tom really connected in that department. And we started writing a few songs, and we thought, oh, this is good. And we played them, obviously. And yeah, I thought, this is good. And next step, obviously, is why don't we get an album together? And we did. We started writing an album's worth of songs, and me and Tom, like I say, connected really well songwriting-wise, bouncing off each other. He brings all his energy to it and enthusiasm, which was great, which is what we needed. And then we lost Ray McVeigh along the way, actually. That didn't work out with Ray, unfortunately. Various reasons. Happens in bands.
Yeah. Well, was it just a time thing, or was it just everyone's just going in different directions?
Yeah, no, yeah. Just it didn't work out personality wise and etc. Different stuff. So we parted company with Ray, and so we were left doing the first album, or second album as it were, first new Professionals album with a new lineup, with as a three piece. And that's when we couldn't find anyone at the time. We had all the songs ready to go and to record, and so that's when I started pulling in some favours from guitar mates all over the place, and we got Steve Jones. Steve was happy to get involved on that department, sending stuff to LA, and Billy Duffy, Phil Collin, and a couple of I can't remember who else was on there now. But we had quite a lot of Duff McKagan played a little bit on it, and they were all really happy to help us out, which was great. We had all their different flavours of guitar on there, which ended up on as What in the World, our comeback album, if you like.
I mean, in the songwriting process of you and Tom, how does that work? I mean, I should know this, but do you actually play guitar, or do you just think of vocal melodies in your head, or what is the process? Yeah. Or do you just sit there playing the drums and he plays off you? I mean, what is the creative process?
I do play a little bit of guitar. I can write a sort of basic song. I learned off Steve, actually, just chugging along like he does, and learned a lot of these songwriting techniques. And so I'd come up with ideas, basic ideas for songs. Tom would elaborate on them, or vice versa. Tom is mainly the lyric man, and like I say, we bounce off each other. So it's kind of split 50-50, really. And we're not precious about stuff as well. If we don't think it's working, we'll say so, and we just move on. Or if he thinks something's working, we persevere with it. I guess the way most people work together, songwriting. It's great to have someone to bounce off when you're songwriting, and coming up with all different ideas. And it's, like I say, a 50-50 split, really.
So why does Steve not want to do it? Somebody told me it's because he doesn't like flying a lot and he likes to stay put.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, I don't think he would come over anyway, because we weren't like a really up and running full-time band, really. The other guys had jobs. Paul Myers had a job. Tom had a job. So it's kind of semi-pro, if you like, semi-professional.
Yeah, yeah.
And, Steve, he would get involved. If we was in the States, I think in LA, I think he would have done it. But obviously we're not. And so he was never going to get involved. So we needed to get another full-time frontman, really. And I think Tom just slotted in there brilliantly. Yeah, Steve, he doesn't, yeah, you're right. He doesn't like getting on a plane and traveling too much these days. He doesn't go too far.
I mean, you still work on it, don't you? Because you were doing the Generation Sex project about just before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, that's right. We done that for a bit of fun to see how that went with Billy Idol and Tony James, me and Steve. And we've done a couple of gigs, one in LA, of course, which was handy for Steve. We went to LA to do it. Again, he would have never come over here to do that. So
you have to go to him.
Billy's there as well. And so me and Tony flew over just to see how things went, really, and see if there was any. And that was great fun, actually. We've done a selection of Gen X songs and Pistols songs. And Billy's a real professional as well, you know, and he was great.
It was great. I watched it on YouTube and he sounded fantastic. I was kind of hoping, I mean, not just professionals, but I mean, would there be a chance that you'd do more gigs with Generation Sex as a little side project, a superstar side project?
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. But once, as you know, once we done that, COVID hit, which just about messed up everyone in the music game. And that was put on hold. I think we're all up for it if the timing's right. You know, it's the old story. If everyone's around at the right time, like Billy don't stop talking. He does stuff all the time. So, but I think everybody's up for it. In the future, who knows? We might do it. It was good fun though. I would do it if the timing was right and everyone was up for it.
Yeah, I mean, it did sound great. It sounded like the best of both bands actually sort of into another band.
Yeah, that's right. It was good fun playing the Gen X stuff. I didn't realise how fast it was, actually. I was struggling a little bit there at the back, like, because I hadn't played for a while. It's like, oh my God, they're really fast. Because the pistol stuff is not all that fast, surprisingly enough.
No, wow. But isn't that the brilliant thing about the Pistols? You know, the only punk band at that time that didn't speed up after the Ramones gig. Just because I guess because you knew you were the top dogs, it had to be on your terms, your speed.
Yeah, it was kind of my speed, really. I'm not one for like playing at breakneck speed. It's not in my character, I guess. You know what I mean? So we were bit of a more fast enough, I think, the songs, you know. But that's why I had the groove about it, I think, because we slightly was a bit slower tempo than most bands. We'd never done thrash punk, if you like, and that's what made it special, I think.
Oh, completely, yeah. I mean, and your drumming style is so distinctive. So on the professionals now, whether you play with Edwyn Collins, Subway Sect, and I've seen you play lots of different people over the years, I always know it's you. You've got a very distinctive style. I mean, do you want to talk about the style? I mean, obviously it's slower than you'd expect from a punk rock drummer, which is very key, but also that kind of rolling kind of groove it has to it as well. I mean, where does that come from?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people have said that, which is very nice, actually. They say, you know, you've got your own thing going and made up kind of your own groove, if you like. I mean, my style's pretty basic, you know. Probably got my own groove. I think it comes from when I was younger, not listening to a lot of thrash music. You know, I was more growing up listening to like Motown groove music and early reggae stuff and ska stuff, along with all the rock stuff as well, obviously. But I think it comes from there, really, just listening to groove of soul records and the sort of ska and reggae stuff, along with the rock stuff that made me get into the groove, if you like, to coin a phrase.
I mean, was that always your thing to be a drummer right from the start when you were really young, or is it the classic thing when people put bands together, somebody has to be the drummer?
Yeah, it kind of was like that. We was a group of friends at the time who were hanging around together with a love of music and fashion and all that kind of thing when we were teenagers. And one of the guys played guitar, a famous guy, the famous Wally, played guitar. And me and Steve, one day someone had the bright idea of, so we're going to gigs and out, you know, going to see music all the time, all the punk rock stuff at the time we used to see. And there's just, I think some the light bulb went on one day and said, someone, why don't we form a band? Why can't we? We went, oh, are you kidding? What, us? And then, yeah, what, us boys, we can't do that. Musicians, those bands come from outer space.
Yeah.
And we thought, yeah, why not? And then it was simply a matter of, Steve, you're going to be vocalist at the time, play guitar, you on keyboard, bass, I'm going to be the drummer. And, oh yeah, all right, let's go. So Steve went out and nicked all the gear, obviously. and the rest is kind of history, if you like, and we didn't start playing till quite late, actually, till it was 17, 18, I guess. We was quite late, really. So Steve was brilliant, just picked up guitar, and he was like to the manor born, and I was on the drums, listening to all my favourite drummers and learning just by ear. Never had any lessons, either of us. And it was just a natural thing, I guess.
So, I mean, who were your favourite drummers? I mean, who were the ones you sort of copied the licks from?
At the time, I ended up listening to all that glam rock stuff, and I liked, as I touched on earlier, all the Motown fills and all that stuff, I can't forget his name, the guy now, I should know it. And also the drummers who were around at the time, like there was Keith Moon, obviously, but I never ate to it, if you like. I like Paul Thompson from Roxy Music, Simon Kirke from Free, Kenny Jones from The Faces. Anything that we'd be listening to, I would pick up on stuff and sort of take little bits and pieces from all of them, I guess.
I could hear Simon Kirke, definitely, that the simplicity and the groove. Yeah.
Very laid back. Yeah, very laid back. Even very slow. I don't think I could play it slow. Actually, has a power to it, doesn't it? If you don't overplay, you don't play too fast. Yeah, not do too many rolls as well. I mentioned Keith Moon earlier, but he was, he's the only drummer who could play drum solos for a song, which you kind of never noticed it. But without overplaying, I always feel a lot of drummers when they play, especially fast stuff, and they're doing too many drum rolls. It's just weird to me. I don't get that. It's just so fast, and if you're playing that fast, I don't think you have to do too many drum fills, really.
I mean, for saying that, your drums, saying they do have a distinctive style, of course, saying that, but also they do have a complexity. It's not dum clank, dum clank, is it? There's stuff going on there, It's not just. It's more than just the basics. There are frills that give you your distinctive vibe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just, like I say, learned a little bit off of every drummer, just even fills and stuff, and slowing down the hi-hat. That was very Simon Kirke, rather than going at it hammer and tongs, and just slowing stuff down on the hi-hat if we're playing fast, and just little fancy frills here and there from everyone, and without overplaying again. And yeah, like you say, it's evolved into my own style, I guess. All those little bits and pieces from every drummer that I was listening to.
And the key to a lot of stuff in your life has also been your friendship with Steve as well, hasn't it? And right from the start, from when you're virtually kids all the way to now. And it's quite a nice story, and it's like a buddy movie or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Brothers, I know it's cliche, we're like brothers, but we kind of were, And again, he was the one who dragged me along. He was he was leading me along. I was more laid back one, and he was the live wire out there every day, not going to school, getting into trouble, and I was sort of yin and yang, really. It worked out, and we locked together musically when we played as well. Not surprisingly, because we just really, and we still do today. If we haven't seen each other for years, we'll start playing, and it's like we've never been away. We just lock in there and got a feel together, I guess, because we got the same sort of sensibility about what we're doing, and it just comes naturally.
I mean, to this day, are you still in touch and quite? I mean, obviously still in touch, but a lot. I mean, do you speak on the phone every couple of months, or is it?
Yeah. No, we speak a lot. Yeah, we have done more recently because there's a little bit of action been going off. They're as you know, probably making a series about his autobiography, which is going to be interesting. I mean, it is a story and a half of him, and Danny Boyle's directing that, as you probably know again. And yeah, so we've been in touch. We've been in touch quite a lot.
I mean, with that Pistols thing, the film was actually the Steve Jones story, which a lot of people don't actually get. They think it's all about the Pistols, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, so What was that disappointing, the court case, or was that just you're just sitting there waiting for that to happen?
I guess that was going to happen eventually, whatever, really. And it was disappointing. I was sitting in there in the court thinking, what the hell are we doing here? You know what I mean? How's it come to this, you know? But unfortunately, it just came to a time where we had to sort stuff out one way or another, you know, and underline whatever was going on and move on. You know, it was really sad actually. I didn't want to be sitting there in court being grilled by some toff in a wig. You know what I mean? About, yeah. But anyway, we did end up there, and it's finished, and hopefully everyone can draw a line under it, like I just said, and move on from it. You know, I don't want to get involved in a slanging match with anyone. To and throwing about it, you know, and you just have, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and you just get on with it, don't you? Like, you know,
I didn't even understand what the case could even be about. The agreement was made, and it's a rock solid agreement that the members vote on the use of the music. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, majority rules kind of thing. We had an agreement, and John obviously didn't agree with it. We did. I'm sorry, I'm a bit old fashioned like that. I think if you sign something.
Yeah, you stick to it.
You've got to adhere to it, really. But he didn't, and we ended up there. You know, like I say, it was a bit of a sorry show, really.
I mean, I know he has all these complex relationships with people he's worked with over the years, you know, and but what was your relationship with him? You know, after the reformation of the band and beyond that, you just never hear from him, I would guess, or were you always kind of not best friends, but you sort of nod on, get on with him?
Yeah. I always got on with John fine, actually. When we first started the Pistols, I was the one making the effort. We were hanging out together, you know, and staying around each other's houses and stuff like that, and going out, drinking. And Steve had more of a bit of a fractious relationship from the off, but I got on with him all right. And the Pistols was such an intense situation to be in. That was never going to last, and we fell out a little bit over that first. You know, we made an effort. We got in touch. He didn't live far from me. Not all the time, not bosom buddies, but we got on okay, well enough. Until the Reformation, you know, and everyone kind of fell out again during that tour. But again, after that, we still talked, and you know, we got along okay. It was fine. I think it's John has more of an issue with Steve and the book for some reason. What he done, I don't know why. He has more of an issue with Steve and the book, but hopefully, you know, it's not broken forever. Our relationship. I hope we talk again at some stage.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's just more about the friendship than the band, really, and it's.
Yeah. Like I say, we not bosom buddies, and he doesn't get in touch that often. But we hadn't spoken for a long time before the court case happened, anyway. But hey, you know, we've got to do business together, hopefully, and that will continue. That will continue, and in a reasonable manner.
And the series itself, obviously, like everyone else, I've not seen much of it, just little photographs of the people pretending to be the Pistols, etc. I mean, what, have you seen it? I mean, did they show you the whole thing? Did you get to see it all?
Oh, sorry, what's that? What they're filming at the moment?
Yeah, is it finished now? Is it in the can, or is it still being?
They filmed it. No, I haven't been that involved in it much, really. They've just been getting on with it. I haven't seen any clips actually. I actually went down to see the band play one day. They was doing a gig, and it was pretty unreal actually looking at us, and they actually really looked like us and sounded like us pretty raw. But that's the only thing I saw them doing the gig. I mean, you know, I haven't been asked about any situations, helping them out, and you know, I think Danny Boyle's his own man, and he's getting on with it. I think he's probably got a good handle on it.
Yeah, he's got Jordan involved, and he's getting her involved in the some of the stylings and things.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've been doing all that. It seemed like they've done a good job on all that. I mean, I met Danny just a couple of times, just for a catch up and a meet. we just wanted to go through a few things, but that's as far as it went, really.
Mm.
I haven't been that involved. A lot other people have been more involved than me, I think, but I think he just wanted to get on with it without being told what to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's a great director, isn't he? So
yeah, he's not gonna take. I mean, he wanted everybody's input. You know, I think he met Glenn, he met Steve. John didn't want to speak to him for some reason, get involved. That's his personal choice. Fair enough.
Mhm.
And yeah, so he's done as much homework as he can on that. But like you say, it's a book about what people don't realise. It's a book about Steve Jones's life story. It's not just about the Sex Pistols. And obviously, Pistols is a big part of his life, but there was a lot more to it before and probably after all that happened. So how it's going to turn out, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's what intrigues me. It seems like it's a story of a quite dysfunctional, wild character who grew up in the 70s, whose small part of his life happened to be in a very famous band. But the actual bit before is a bit that's, to me, would be the most interesting part of it. And it's already getting judged on being a thing about a band. It's not a biopic of a group at all, is it?
Yeah, that's right. No, and his life is, like you say, pretty. It's a pretty full-on read. When you read the book, you're thinking, "Oh my God!" There's a lot of stuff in there I didn't know, you know, and I thought I probably knew him better than anyone. And yeah, it's reading some of the stuff, you're going, "Oh, really? Oh, no more." And it gets worse. You turn the page, think it can't get any worse, and it does, you know. But it's going to be a bit of a story, I think. Yeah.
I mean, once you read the book, did it change? Obviously, change the way you think of him because you know more stuff about him, or does it strengthen the relationship in a way? You know, does it? He seems when I read it, he seemed a lot more vulnerable as a person than I'd assumed. You know.
Yeah, me too. That's the feeling I came away with it. I'm thinking, wow, I didn't really know this was going on. You didn't share this with me at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
The title says it all, Lonely Boy. I didn't realise how lonely and he was always a loner, Steve. Never, and he sort of kept thinking. I didn't realise how much he was keeping to himself. I mean, he opened up a lot later on once he got involved with NA and all that stuff, and he started sharing all of that stuff, and I learned a lot more about them. But at the time when we were growing up, you don't speak about those things when you're kids, really, do you? You don't.
No, not the 70s. No.
Yeah, what's going on at home and all that sort of thing. We obviously knew there was kind of something going on there because he would always be staying at my place. He didn't want to go home a lot of the time. So there's obviously something going on there, but he didn't really say, and we didn't really ask. And
Did it make you reevaluate what your friendship was? You know, because in the 70s, he's obviously like kind of the wild gang leader type of character, but in a sense, he's leaning on you more than you're leaning on him when you read about and see what he's like as a person.
Yeah, I mean, with long-term relationships, they go up and down, don't they? And after reading the book, I just thought, wow, yeah, he really was vulnerable. He probably still is at heart, you know, and he's still alone now. Not much has changed. He's obviously worked on himself over the years, and he's got a lot better at talking and sharing what's going on. Hello.
You got a butler.
I'll have to wait. I can't munch away while we're talking here, but it looks very nice, actually.
What was it? A cake? Has he brought you a cake?
He brought me a little sandwich, actually.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I forgot the question now.
Oh, it was just about you know, the nature of the relationship. You know, because when you were younger, he was like the ringleader, and he would seem like the leader, but in a way, he was. It's just that your part is a very equal relationship because actually you're the strong one, and he's actually the one who's not weak, but more the vulnerable one, the one who needs the other brother, really.
Yeah, it's a lot of insecurities going on there, and probably didn't realise at the time that we was feeding off each other for my insecurities and needs. We all have them when we're kids, you know, but didn't realise the extent to which he was doing that, I guess. And he's it's all down to insecurities. That's where the bravado comes from and the showing off and that. Like you say, he was always the ringleader, total ringleader, centre of attention, everyone telling jokes, getting into trouble, you know, the one who's out never at school and So this sort of thing, Steve, where's Steve? He's in, So I think that all came from his insecurities and just probably wanted to be loved, as they say, and wanted to a bit of attention off everyone.
So how does it work now? That relationship is it, the roles must have changed over the years, or do you slip back? Like it's a bit like when you're playing together. Occasionally, you have a jam and you just go straight back into that groove. Is the relationship going to that groove, or is that sort of subtly changed?
Not really. No, he's got a lot stronger and more in himself and his personality, I think, since he's in later years. But he's still got the underlying insecurities, what we all have, and we talk about stuff. And he's still very much a loner as well. So I think basic characters don't change of people sometimes over the years. Very difficult. But I guess it's kind of the same, really, the relationship. He does we talk a lot more about stuff now than we used to anyway.
Do you kind of, even though the band does sound great, it's a really great lineup, but do you miss him being in the band? Not musically so much. Of course you would miss him because he's one of the greatest guitar players, but just being there, being around.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would work at the moment with him in the band, actually, and where he's at the moment. I'm not sure how that would work. It would be great if we had a play and he was doing that. But Steve never wanted to be the singer anyway. He never wanted to be a singer in the professionals. It was just for the lack of option, finding someone that he ended up being the singer-guitarist. He just always wanted to be the guitarist, And so he never felt comfortable up there singing. And so it's great that I think what we got now with Tom is he's a great replacement. Again, bringing all these energy to the ball. And Tom likes being a front man and singing. So that would be I don't know if it would be any better if Steve was there now. I'm kind of liking what we got going now. It's a different band, really, different professionals.
Yeah, I think I was sort of saying that at the beginning. It's got a different sound. It's a contemporary sound. It's not so much. It's not better or worse. It's just different, isn't it? It's as good in a different way, and it does fit into that kind of wild heartsy kind of world of punk rock and roll.
I like the way it's evolving with the professionals. We've always got a group of musicians around us now slotting in and out because, like I said earlier, we got rid of Ray. We got Chris McCormack in eventually, and Paul Myers. He left. We got Toshi in, and now it's like Chris has gone now, so we need to find another guitarist. It's constantly evolving, which I don't mind either. We've got a guy coming in called Rich Jones, who's played with various people, Tom's mate, to do this tour that's coming up. As you know, we got the album coming out next week, and we're doing a run of shows starting next Wednesday, I think, or Thursday. So it's constantly changing the lineup of the profs at the moment, which is fine. I think it's fine.
What's it like? Obviously being in one of the most iconic bands of all time. We can't really get around that subject, can we? It's a game-changing band, but you seem to like to roll your sleeves up and just get back out there on the circuit and just play all the small venues again. You perfectly happy doing that? Of course, it's a great life and that, but does it feel weird going? Well, you could play in a stadium one week and a bar the next.
Yeah, I do. It's getting harder. I must be honest, and it's a bit of a chore. It was a bit of a chore getting this album together all through lockdown. John, it was done in spits and spats, starting, finishing, no guitarist, other guitarists in, and the gigs can be a bit of a chore as well. It's hard work because we're not on a level where we get everything done for us. We have to really muck in and chip in. But I do it because I like doing it. I like playing live. I always have done. All the rest of it is a bit of a number, but I just like being up there on stage, and when it all clicks in together and is going well, there's nothing like it still. It's great. And also I've got nothing else to do, I don't know what I'd be doing.
You could just wait for the royalty check to turn up every year and never have to work again.
Drinking myself silly, probably.
but you got a creative impulse that you have to create and have to make things.
Yeah, that's the good bit about it. Getting the fact that we've done What in the World, got that together, which I'm really proud of actually. With Tom, we made a great album there, and got really well received. And now it's been a bit of a challenge getting this one together, the follow-up, if you like, the tricky second album. But we've done that as well. And it's great when you're writing songs and you can hear them on the record at the end of it all, and you think, yeah, we've done that again. And yeah, you're right, being creative as well as part of it, as well as playing live, that's a real buzz, knowing that you can get something, your work of art together, as it were,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling stories. I mean, like the single, which is quite funny because it's about Holly kind of poisoning you by mistake.
Yeah, poisoning me. That's a bit strong. Yeah, no, the story. Yeah, the single we got out at the moment, "Spike Me Baby." She lives a few doors down from me, and I raid her fridge down again for snacks. And one day I nicked some of her chocolates, were in there. She says she didn't know they were there, didn't realise what they were, didn't even realise I took them in the daytime, and I was freaking out that night, not knowing what the hell was going on and why I was feeling this strange way, which was really freaking me out, actually. And I asked her, she was going, I don't know. I was getting pretty horrible, actually. But later on in the evening, I just chilled out and got into it. And it wasn't until a few days later that she came in and she was clearing her fridge out. Daddy, you didn't take any of these the other day, did you? I was going, yeah, okay. But she didn't know at the time. And that was the worst thing about it. I didn't know what was going on because I didn't know what had happened. That was the worst thing. If I'd have known, I'd have been okay with it, So it was a bit of a funny story. And so Tom picked up on it and wrote the lyrics to the song.
It's a great song. It's great. And also it's a great song. It's a really good chorus.
Yeah. I think, we're still sticking to our formula, good songs, not hopefully not standard chord changes, and some great choruses in them. Sing along choruses is what the Professionals are all about, really.
Yeah,
right from the first album as well. From I Didn't See It Coming, which is a great album. The production on it's terrible, but there's some great songs on it.
I mean, on all the way back to the Pistols as well. I mean, the choruses are always huge on the Pistols songs, when even though the Pistols had kind of a quirkiness to them as well, which a lot of people missed coming from Steve's guitar playing, because even though he's one of the quintessentially great rock and roll guitar players, he does have a really weird style. So he played really odd guitar bits in the Pistols you wouldn't expect. And that kind of went, and there's a bit less in the Professionals, but it was there, wasn't it? And the big choruses,
Yeah, he has got again, it's Steve when you hear him play, like you were saying, it's me when you hear the drums. He's definitely got his own style, and he has got some, especially when he plays lead now. When he done some stuff on the Professionals album, it's a little bit off kilter, it's not technically brilliant, but it's still brilliant anyway, if you know what I mean. He's got these little quirks about his playing, and it's him, it's him straight away. You're right. And the Pistols, we had great, same Professionals, I think, was just a continuation of the Pistols, really, as far as the music and the choruses. So obviously we didn't have the main man there, Mr. Lydon himself, who was a force of nature. But it was kind of along those lines. Definitely.
Yeah, it was kind of from a silly thing, Lonely Boy made into a group, really, wasn't it? The rock and roll swindle kind of take on the Pistols, those later songs, which I love those songs. I think they're great songs. And the Professionals is just a continuation of that, really.
Yeah, that was like a transitional period into the Professionals, really, that little episode with the swindle. Not one of our glorious moments, I must admit, with it. But anyway.
What, you mean the film or?
Yeah, just the overall thing, the way the Pistols finished and done the film. It's a bit messy, it's a bit messy. A lot of people like it, though.
I do. I don't think there's any other way you could have done that band. I don't think. I know, obviously, for you and Steve, it would have been great for being a 20-album career band, but it just couldn't be. It had to be like that. And it had to be a big car crash at the end, didn't it?
Of course. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just too intense for us all at that age with all what was going on. I don't think people really realise how intense it was. It was front page news on the telly news as well, and people were out to get us, and it was very, very stressful and intense. There was no way that could have lasted longer than it did at the time.
No, it would have actually.
We got back together in '96 and done the reunion tour, which we done properly, and we could do it on our terms, really, when there wasn't all the madness going on. We could do it with great sound systems and proper professional people working with us and stuff.
It was fantastic. I remember Finsbury Park, and everybody was there going, "What?" People thought you were just going to play one song, or it was just going to be a complete ramshackle. Nobody had any idea. Then you start playing Bodies as the first song, and everybody ran to the front. There's a massive surge going, "Fuck, this sounds amazing!" And everybody says that. You know, it's people go, "Jesus, they do sound really good, don't they?"
Yeah, we could play. Everyone, there was this these rumours going around at the time. We didn't play on Nevermind the Bollocks. You know, they can't play. They're not that good, but we could play all right, all of us. And when we did that Finsbury Park show, which by the way is one of my favourite ever shows as well, because it was our first gig back in the UK after however long, 20
years. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was great homecoming. Very nerve-wracking actually coming back doing a massive show like that off the bat. But it was a great day. It was really
amazing.
Good.
Well, we were the opening band. We were on at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're probably still in the hotel lying in bed.
It was a great lineup as well, wasn't it?
All day. Yeah, you look at that lineup now and go, whoa, look at that. It's just every single band was on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think even Chris's Three Colours were playing, Iggy Pop, Buzzcocks were playing when they in. Wild Hearts were they playing?
SLF played a thing, and Fluffy. I'm not sure how they got on the bill, but I think didn't Steve suggest them?
Probably, yeah. No, Fluffy were on, because they supported us when we toured Japan at the time as well. They must have had a great agent, I reckon.
Good agent, yeah.
They was all right. That was a good band, actually.
No, they were actually a really good band. Yeah, they were powerful.
Echo Belly were on. Was they on that one? Or I can't remember the lineup. I have to have a look. But they were good. All girl band, and we had good fun with them on tour in Japan, actually, when they toured with us a few times.
Yeah, I saw you a few times on both Reformations, and mostly pretty good. I remember the next time you came back and you played Crystal Palace, it didn't feel as good for some reason. It didn't.
No, it wasn't. There was something not right about that. There was the atmosphere and just generally all round going down to Crystal Palace. I think we only played it because it was another anniversary of the Queen's or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It said, it was a palace. We thought, this might be. It wasn't great, and it wasn't going to. I think the '96 tour was great. Every time we got back together after that, it got slightly worse, I think. And then it was time to call it a day in 2007, I think it was the last time. It was getting not much fun every time we got back together, which wasn't a lot, but it just felt it's not happening really.
Yes, I can't imagine it's ever going to happen again, is it?
I don't think so. I always say never say never, but not this time.
So for you, the Professionals is for now, for this stage of life. So where you're at now, this is the perfect thing to be doing.
Yeah, it is. It's my baby, if you like. It's kind of my band, I guess, and I just like kind of having a bit of control over what I'm doing musically and artistically. Without Tom, like I say, the driving force behind the band. And like I said earlier, it's a labour of love, but I enjoy doing it.
I mean, initially, it wasn't but it was your and Steve's band, wasn't it? So now, is that how it works? And now it's because you're the senior member in a sense, so it's become your band.
I'm the only original professional left. Tom are the professionals, but we got Toshi, who's a permanent member now, our bass player, who's great, and he's on the case. We just got to find another guitarist again. It's like
I thought you had somebody.
Maybe we'll just get guys as we go along, which is it. Pick up someone for each tour or whatever until we find the right person.
I thought you'd found somebody from the north.
Chris Catalyst.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do it.
We done a row of dates about a couple of months ago, and he done those, but unfortunately he's got other commitments and he couldn't do this tour.
Oh, that's a shame. He's a great guitar player, good guy as well.
Yeah, Chris is good. Yeah, it's a real shame because he'd been rehearsed out and he would have been ready to go, but he's got other commitments. And we're getting Rich Jones in as well, another later Tom. I think he plays with Michael Munro and people like that, different people.
Yeah. He's
meant to be good though, was he?
So when you bring in people like Billy Duffy to work with you, and Billy's a great guy and obviously a great guitar player, do you just sort of give him a bit? You have the the song's finished and they just put the icing on the cake, or do they have much creativity? Do they have much space to play around with?
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah, we do finish the rhythm track. They try and get as much done as possible, vocals, and then we send them over to Billy, or if he's here, he'll do it, and just say, obviously, there's spaces in the song for solos and other little frills, and just put on it what you want, and then we get it back and chop it up and mix and match along with him and Phil Collin, whoever else has done stuff. I mean, I was toying with the idea. It would have been great if Billy could have joined us for this tour, but then again, I think he would have been up for it. But he had to go back to the States, and he started working on the Cult, writing some new Cult stuff and recording over there.
He does step into the bands, doesn't he, every now and then?
Yeah, he's got Colour Sound going. He plays with Mike Peters and stuff, doesn't he? He's a jobbing guitarist. Billy is another one. He just wants to keep working, and when there's long periods of time when the Cult are not doing anything, he likes to play with other people.
Yeah, I liked his quote on the press release. It was something like, well, you know, when a Sex Pistol calls, you have to step up. Something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice to know I still got a bit of clout.
Because
he's been a fan as well, you know.
Yeah,
the Pistols, etc. So of the other, like Duff McKagan, who played, he was willing to help out, which is great when people just don't even question it. Say, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Well, Billy was at the Free Trade Hall gig, wasn't he? The second one, I think.
Yeah, apparently so. The famous I was there. Everyone was there.
I think he actually was there, because I think he didn't go down, because he's from the same part of town as Slaughtering the Dog, so he would have gone down with those guys, wouldn't he?
That's right. Yeah, he was a good mate of Mike Rossi's at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't there, was you? You were too young.
No. I was 15. I was at Blackpool anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
You never played Blackpool. You should have played Blackpool, because there would have been something very perfect about that.
I think apparently everyone who went on to form bands, so the legend goes, was at the Manchester Free Trade Hall.
It's amazing how many of them were actually there. There's quite a lot of people, and you can always trace Manchester's musical history. That the second chapter starts at those two gigs.
It's just not an urban myth, is it? They all were actually there. Yeah,
pretty well all of them. Yeah, there's about 10 bands came out, 10 key bands. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Seminal gig, as they say then, yeah.
You were down, didn't you, last time you were up in Manchester? Didn't Ian Brown take you down to the Free Trade Hall for the first time since the gig?
Yeah, he did actually. We was playing in Manchester, and Ian was there. I called him up. We had to walk around the centre of Manchester, you know, and he was showing me around, and I would have never recognised the place. And we went past the Free Trade Hall. I don't know what it is now. It's Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was getting stopped every 50 yards, you know, like the Lord of the Manor. Autographs, and he was really cool about it, you know. He was like the Lord Mayor there. I see, I'll stop. That was fun that day, actually. Yeah.
So what's the plans now? The pressure is you're going to do the tour. So it's hard to make plans at this time, but at least you could do a UK tour, and the album's coming out, and then I guess festivals next year. And
stuff. Yeah, that's the plan. We still got to do pick up the Stiff Little Fingers tour, which got cancelled last time. We were 3 dates in, then all the COVID chaos broke, and we had to cancel it after 3 days. And that was 2 years ago. We was meant to do it again last year. Of course, that didn't happen again because of lockdown, and so we're going to pick that up in springtime next year. Maybe do a couple of gigs, you know, around Christmas, and before that we'll see. And hopefully, like you say, some festival. We've got our tour coming up now. Fingers crossed, people will be ready to get out there again and get out. I hear that the attendance is. Some bands have been playing. People are still a bit wary about going out at the moment. So
yeah, I think younger people go out and older people are a bit nervous, or they actually catch COVID. Even if they buy a ticket, they can't get to the gig. So
we'll have to see how that goes. But we thought, you know what, we had this tour book from way back, and the album date really. So we thought, let's just go for it. We don't want to cancel it again. I think it's come to the time where we've got to get out there again and get on with it.
Yeah, people are playing, so the gigs are on. So things are happening. I mean, I know you got to go rehearsing. So does that mean you're actually writing new songs post album? There's a creativity continuing.
Yeah, all the time. We're still at the moment we're okay. We've got the new songs to play live, and that we're in a great position that we've got too many songs to fill a set now. We've got 3 albums worth, and so we've got to mix and match from the 3 and see which ones work best. And yeah, we'll carry on writing. I think keep going. That's what keeps you going. I think there's another.
I mean, but apart from your daughter poisoning you, what else are you writing about these days? I mean, are the lyrics actually that important to you? I mean, you don't have to be. So a lot of great bands, the lyrics just hold the melodies down. Or is it about storytelling as well? Is storytelling quite key to what you're doing?
Well, it is actually, yeah, because Tom writes the majority of the lyrics. Actually, he's really good at it. Some of the subject matters on the album are great. And he's got too much to say a lot of the time, Tom. I have to edit him down. That's where it works. He's like just non-stop. That's his energy coming out, and he just can't stop. And so that's where we work well together. And he's still got the melodic chorus, and I have to edit him down and say no. He's great at writing lyrics, Tom, and stories. We got one on there about it's called Mashes. I just mentioned one day. Last time I went to LA, getting back to Steve again, I took his mum's ashes back for him because he couldn't come over for the funeral. So I had her ashes and took her ashes back to LA for him. Like it was a reunion because he's had a fractious relationship with his mum, and he couldn't come. And that's a kind of way of him making up for it, I guess. I don't know what he's done with them, but Tom wrote a song about that called Mashes, M apostrophe ashes. And so just little things like that he will pick up on, Tom, and get a great set of lyrics out of it, like he did for Spike and Baby as well.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that taking the personal and making it into a story that you can relate to that as well, can't you?
It's a nice touch, yeah. It's a good song as well, actually. Yeah, good lyrics on it.